Hi everyone, so today I thought we'd do this, which is an advent calendar wreath, and I originally saw this on Anne Melvin's Positively Papercraft channel and I really liked it. I've done mine slightly different, but not completely different, but slightly different. The tinsel was from B&M, saw it, I really liked it, so this is this tinsel. It's not quite the same gold as the rest of the gold, but I quite like it. It's not too in your face. I didn't want it to be too blingy. The papers that I've used are these. It's Paper Addicts Festive Luxe from DRK Crafts. Last time I checked, they did still have this on their website and it was super cheap. So go and check it. I'm not sure today if they've got any or not, but go and have a look and see. They have got massive discounts on their Christmas section and also on paper pads generally. So go and have a look. So I've used those papers. The luxury is they're double-sided and they're 200 GSM, so they're perfect for this kind of thing. The little numbers that I used were from some little candle number dies that I had. I don't know where I got them from. I think they might have been AliExpress. I'm not really sure. And I just cut, they all had like a little flame above them. So I've just cut the little flames off. But I like the fact they've got little dots on them, a bit textured, a bit nice. And then the bows, this ribbon was from the range. I'm not sure how much you get on a reel, but I got enough. I managed to use like 1.5 reels for what I needed, and I had 12 inches per box. So yeah, and it hangs up here, and yeah, that's really my box. So let me show you how we did it. Let's get into it. Okay, so for this advent calendar, you're going to need 24 squares that are 6 by 6. I've already done 23 of them, so I figured you don't want to see me making them all. So I'm going to show you how I make this one, and then obviously just duplicate that over your 24. I'm actually using the We Are Memory Keepers 123 punch board. Now this is the one that you can either make envelopes, bows or boxes with. Okay, and it's really, I use it quite a lot for making the envelopes, but I don't often use the boxes, which is why I thought, oh, let me see if I can have a go with this. So that's what we're going to use. So if you open it up, I will also try at the end, I'll show you my little template, and I'll show you if you haven't got a box maker, you can still do it. It's just a bit more involved, that's all. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this in, and we're actually making a small, because on here it's got, you can't really see it, but it says here paper size. So this is a 6 by 6, so that's the paper size, and then it says start line is S and diagonal line is S. So here's the start line and here's the diagonal line here. So what we want to do is we're going to go put it in an S like that, and then we need to punch it, and then we score down here and we score down here, and then where this says S, we're also going to score down until we meet that diagonal line going the other way. So when you've done that, you're going to turn your paper 90 degrees and do it all over again. So punch, and then score here, and then score here, just down to there. And we're going to repeat again. So turn it 90 degrees, line it up with the S, punch, score here, oops daisy, and then come down here and stop. And then the last one is on this side, so again line it up with the S, punch, we're going to score here, we're going to score here, and then come down S and stop. Then once you've done that, you then want to take your piece of paper, turn it all the way over, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put it back in where the S is, and you're just going to punch, and then rotate, line it up with the S, punch, turn it round, line it up with the S, punch. This is the S I'm talking about here. Turn it round, line it up with S, and punch. So you end up with that basically. Okay, now you probably can't see my score lines very well, but yeah. Now it also mentions about putting a little slit in the top, and I decided not to do this. You can if you want. If you do, it looks like this. I don't know if you can see that, how it's got a little slit. So the idea is then these two kind of attach into each other like that, and then these do too, but I really struggled to get these two to connect in, so I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to do that. So I think a couple of mine are like that, but the rest I'm not going to do that with. I've got a different way of closing it up. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and fold on these lines, and then you'll be able to see them better, because I don't know how well you can see that on this dark card. So I'm just going to go ahead and all of these diagonal lines that I've just done, I'm just going to go ahead and fold as if they are mountains. So you end up with that, and then all of these diagonal ones are going to be going the other way. So these are actually end up being valleys because the way around I've done it. In fact, I need to change this round. Let me just do these the way around because I need my little stars on the outside. Okay, so then what we want to do is all of these just need to be folded in like that. So that's what you end up with. So if you don't have a punch board, then what you can do, I'll tell you the measurements that I've worked out from here. So if you go from the top left hand corner and mark along, and if you mark at 1 1/4, 2 1/8, 3 7/8, and 4 3/4, okay, and then if you come from this bottom section here, so the bottom right hand corner, mark from the bottom up at 1 1/4, at 2 1/8, at 3 7/8, and at 4 3/4. And then what you can do is that this 1 7/8 will join up with that 1 7/8, and then this 3 7/8 joins up with that 3 7/8. Okay, and then if you do the similar thing along the bottom, basically if you turn it round like that and then do the same here and here, so 1 7/8, 1 1/4, 2 1/8, 3 7/8, 4 3/4, and then the same going from the bottom here up, same measurements. And then if you just join these up, you should end up with this. And then all you want to do is just get a corner rounder or a corner cutter, or just cut them out yourself. Just literally cut those little triangles out yourself. They won't be rounded, but it's fine. You just have, you know, just a little thing out. So if you do that, you should end up then with this. And then the only thing you need to do is at the halfway mark at 3 inches, you just want to score down until you hit that V, and just keep turning and doing that. So score down until you hit that V, score down until you hit that V, score down until you hit that V. So you've done all 4 sides, and you should end up with that then. Okay, so that's just the way of doing it if you don't have the scoreboard. Right, so now what we need to do is go ahead and stick this together. So I'm going to use a few pegs and some glue because I want it to kind of stick. So what I'm going to do is we're going to fold this up like this. So you need to put a bit of glue in here to stick that together. And then I'm just going to fold and stick one of those flaps down on the inside, just to one side. And I'm going to make sure that all of my flaps always stick the same way, so they kind of go around like a windmill. So we're just going to put some glue on here. And if you wanted to use hot glue or, you know, a strong adhesive, you could. And then we're just going to put some glue on the inside here, like that. Stick that down like that. I'm just going to fold that back, and I'm going to peg it so it can be setting. So I'm going to do the same here. I'm actually going to quickly glue this inside bit first before I glue the outside, and then I'm going to glue this bit, putting it on the same triangle to make it a bit easier. Fold it in, peg it down like that. I just find if you peg it, then you haven't got to wait for it to dry. And then we're going to do the same here. So we're going to put a bit of glue on this little triangle here, and the one on the outside as well. And then bring it in like that, and then peg it. And then last but not least, we have this one. A bit more tricky because you haven't got quite as much space. Can still do it. It's just a bit more tricky. Okay, so I've just given that a couple of minutes just to set. So I'm just going to take all these off. Okay, so you should end up with a little box that looks like that. Now mine's a little bit wonky there, but anyway, that's fine. It's just the way it is. It's the way I folded it. I've obviously not quite done my folds quite right, but it's fine. It's fine. There's going to be that many boxes on here that it's not really a problem. I've got my hot glue gun. I've switched it on and I've just put it to one side because we're going to need that in a minute. So then what you want to do obviously is do that for all 24 pieces, and you will end up with 24 boxes. So there we go. So here's my 24 boxes ready to go. So the next thing we're going to probably need to do is, depending on how quickly this heats up, is I'm going to stick this tinsel around the outside of the actual base that we're going to be using. So you need to get yourself some stiff board. Now I'm using mount board, and this was actually an offcut piece. And what it was is it was like a frame, I think. Yeah, there was a few of those left over, so I've just used that. And you want to, this is about 12 inches wide, so you want something that's about 12 inches wide, roughly. If you've got a dinner plate that you can use, that'd be great, or one of them serving plates that, you know, works. So this has got black on one side and white on the other. I'm going to be using the black side just because I'm doing black and gold with my wreath, so I quite like the idea of having the black base. So we're going to attach this, and I'm going to put it just around the outside of my wreath, which is why I want my hot glue gun, because I want to be able to stick it straight on. And I'm just sticking it around the outside. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to, while I'm waiting for this to come out, oh, it's starting to come out now, good, it's almost ready. I'm just going to take a cutting mat, and then at the top of my circle I'm going to use this screw hole punch, which I've used before, and I'll put a link in the description below for it. I'll try and put one up on the side if I can, and I'm just going to cut a hole. Oh, there we go. I cut a hole in the top of my mount board. See how easy that was? I mean, I just love that because you can do it anywhere on the page. So that's where I'm going to put my ribbon through. I think I will attach my ribbon first, and then we'll add the tinsel on. Okay, so I found this ribbon in my stash. So I'm going to pull off about, now obviously depends on how much you want to, how, you know, big you want it. I'm going to probably go a bit bigger than I think I want it, just to allow for, you know, hanging up and stuff. And then we're going to go ahead and just thread this through that hole. In fact, I think what I might do actually is I'm going to tie it at the top. So I've tied it at the top like that, and then I'm just going to thread this bottom section through. And then just pull it tight, and you end up with that, which is great. Right, so now I'm going to go through and just start sticking this tinsel down. Okay, so I decided that I didn't like the white on the back. I want it to be this way round because I don't think I'm going to get my boxes on that way around. So, but I don't like all that white. So what I've done is I've got this piece of pattern paper, which is actually from another pack, which I'll put up on the screen. Oh, it's called All That Glistens. It was a first edition pack. And so I've just cut myself out. I've actually just cut round this wreath. And so I'm now going to go ahead and stick it on. I'm just going to work out which way around it was supposed to be, so I've not got any excess white edges that I don't need. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. So I'm a lot happy with that now. So obviously this looks a bit odd, but once you get all the boxes on, any gaps in between the boxes, you're going to have these lovely gold dots. So, and it is different gold to the tinsel, but I'm happy with that. That's fine. So I'm going to go ahead now and work out how I want to open and close the boxes. Okay, so I decided that for the boxes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie them with ribbon and just literally tie a knot on the top rather than a bow, because doing like 24 bows is a bit excessive. So I got this ribbon from the range. Just gold ribbon. It doesn't say how many meters it has on it, but it's turned out it's got quite a bit on it. And it's, you know, it's just a cheap ribbon, but it's kind of shiny and it's thin enough. I didn't want anything too thick, so this is perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some red tape and just put a line on the bottom halfway, roughly. Some of the ones I've already done the other 23 boxes because I didn't want to have to do them all on camera. So I'm just going to go ahead, cut that off, and then if we get a pin, as you can see it's a bit wonky, but it's alright. It's just really to secure it. You're not going to see this bit on the bottom. It's just to secure it. So I'm going to take my piece of ribbon. I've cut my ribbon to 12 inches in length, which is a bit long, but it's enough that you can tie, and then you just have to cut off your excess. So we're going to go ahead and just stick this down like that. turn it over, and then obviously you put your treat in, and then on the other side we are just going to do a knot, and I'm just going to trim off the excess. So obviously you do definitely want to put your treat in first, because trying to retie that now that I've cut it might be a bit tricky. And so you're going to do that for all 24 boxes. So as you can see, I've done them all already, so you don't have to sit and watch me. So now we need to number them up. But before we do that, I want to stick them onto the wreath, because I feel like if I stick them onto the wreath and then number them up, otherwise, because I kind of want them to be in order as it goes round. And if I don't, then I might end up not getting these in the arrangement that I want. So I'm going to bring the wreath back in, and then we'll go ahead and stick these down. Okay, so I've got my wreath back in. I'm going to go ahead now and just lay these out. Okay, so I've stuck them all down. I went for a bit more of an ordered kind of a way. I wanted them to be all kind of, you know, facing out how you saw originally, but I found this was the best way to get them all in. So I've got them all on. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the inside, and then the remaining, however many that is, on the outside. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and stick the numbers on. Now, I discovered, I was umming and ahhing what to do. I would have liked to have had like tags on them under each ribbon, but I'd already stuck quite a few of the ribbons down before I came to that decision. So what I've done is I found a die that was actually a candle, and it's these numbers here, and they actually had a little flame above each of the numbers. So I've just gone through, and what I did was when I was cutting them out, I made sure the flame was off the top of the card, so it didn't cut out the flame. So I ended up with a few little stalks, but I'll just cut them all off. So now I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to add these onto my boxes. Okay, so I've gone ahead and added my numbers on. If you can spot my little mistake, then please put it in the comments. But yeah, so that is the finished wreath. So quite happy with it. It's not quite how I expect it to be. I would have liked them to be, as I said, all kind of fanned out rather than kind of regimented, but it's fine. It's neat. It means the box is all the right way up, which is good. Obviously the person can either try and untie the knot, or they can just snip it. If they want to reuse it next year, then you're probably best to snip it. The other thing as well I was thinking that you could do is, instead of using ribbon to close them, you could use little if you can get small Velcro dots or small magnets. That would be my one of choice, I think. I think if I was going to do this again, I would get some small magnets, little circular ones, and just stick them one underneath this flap and one right at the back underneath. So whatever is the back flap out of these two, not these two, the inside two, I'd stick a magnet on the inside of that. So then the two, as long as it's a strong one, they'll stick together. But yeah, quite pleased with that. Not too bad. It's definitely one of those that you only make one of unless you love this kind of thing. But for me, it was a little bit too involved. But yeah, I think it looks good, and it's certainly a showstopper. It'd be nice hung on a door. I've learnt a lot of lessons through making it, different ways that I would do it next time. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Obviously we're in the middle of our 12 Days of Christmas series, so tune in again tomorrow to see the rest. And yeah, I'll see you all soon. Bye.